Hello, geometry students. Happy Monday or Tuesday. I hope you had a nice weekend and that everybody's doing okay. I'm going to try to shorten up our lessons a little bit here, just so it's not taking you guys so long. So please take notes as I'm going through this with you. Write down a few examples. If you have to hit pause, please do so. All right, here we go. So Pythagorean theorem. So this hopefully is review for you guys. There'll be a few new things, such as right here where it is saying that we want our answer in simplest radical form. So that's super important. So in our notes or on the outline, I did tell you guys it would be great if you could have, if you have your own calculator with you there. Otherwise, I did put a link on there to download a scientific calculator like this one. I know this one's a little bit different than the ones that we use in class, but it should be pretty similar. So cell phones are great. However, they do not do simplest radical form unless you download an app. So, and I can show you too. If you aren't able to get a calculator and put it in simplest radical form, I can show you how you would be able to find your answer otherwise. All right. So our first example here, we're trying to find x. So we're trying to find the missing side length. So this whole chapter, we're trying to find missing lengths on a right triangle. Because remember, right triangles are the most common types of triangles in the world. Right angles make something sturdy, make it constructually sound, if that's a word, I don't know. All right, so we definitely want to be able to find these missing pieces. So the first thing that you need to do is label what is your legs and your hypotenuse. So in the notes that I had on our outline, I told you that we've got the 90 there in the bottom left corner. So the two pieces that are meeting at the 90s are our legs. So this would be a leg, this would be a leg, and this would be the hypotenuse. Okay? I don't know why that's not, the H isn't showing. Okay, there we go. And if you don't need to do that, that's fine. Just do it in your head, that's fine. So now my Pythagorean theorem says that I would take the leg, and I could write either the 3 or the 4, it doesn't matter. So 3 squared plus 4 squared equals my hypotenuse squared. Right? And then I just solve that. So it's really important that we remember our perfect squares. So you might want to go ahead and just make some notes that you're going to keep next to you every time you're doing your math for the next couple weeks. So like if you wrote down 3 squared on your sheet and just wrote 9. If you don't remember those, or if you have a hard time remembering those. All right, so we've got 9 plus 16 equals x squared. All right, and then adding those together, we would get 25 equals x squared. And once you get to this point, hopefully you can either mental math it, and if not, then hopefully you guys remember to undo a square, we take the square root. So to get rid of this little 2 here, we would take the square root of 25. And then the square root of 25 is 5. So that missing side length, that hypotenuse, is 5. So up here, this is a 5. Okay? And it should be bigger than 3 and 4, right? Because we said in our notes that the hypotenuse should be the longest side. So if I found a number that was smaller than 4 or 3, then I know I would have did my my math wrong. All right, next problem here. So again, I'm going to label. This would be a leg. I don't know why it's not letting me write some of those things. All right, so this would be a leg. There we go. This would be the other leg because the 90 or the belt is right there. and then this would be the hypotenuse. The side across from the 90 is our hypotenuse, or the longest side. So when I go to do my Pythagorean theorem on this one, again, remember it's leg squared plus leg squared. So, and again, I can start either with the 10 or the x, it doesn't matter. I'm going to start with the 10. So 10 squared plus x squared equals 16 squared. All right. And now again, so it would be helpful, right? So you don't have to sit and do it all the time. If you have a sheet, go ahead and write down all the perfect squares. If you're pretty good at it, you don't need to. All right. Now again, we're just doing algebra here, solving. So I want the x all by itself. So that means I'm going to minus the 100. So then I get x squared equals 156. All right. And last step then is to get the x all by itself. So we would take the square root. Now this one is different. All right, because when I type in the square root of 156, or if I try to mental math it, when I try to mental math it, it doesn't end up being a perfect square. So when I type in, so I have to type in this second button, so second, and then my square root is down here, right? And then I type in 156. Okay, now when I hit enter, I get a decimal. That is not simplest radical form. However, we can write it down. 12.4899. Okay, and if we look at the problem up here, right, that would make sense. If the hypotenuse is 16, the leg is 10, yeah, 12.4899 would be good. Okay. However, the directions again said that we wanted it in simplest radical form. So this is how your calculator does that for you. Normally in class, we would have gone over how to do this without. And I think in previous algebra classes, your teachers have done this with you. But we're not going to because of distance learning. All right, so you're going to hit the mode button. Again, whatever type of calculator you have, hit the mode button, and then go down to classic. And if classic is on yours, you're going to be getting a decimal when you do the square root. If we scroll over, so right arrow and highlight math print, so now I'm going to hit enter. Now, every time I do a square root, it's going to give me simplest radical form. All right. So I just hit clear to get out of there, or second quit. Right. So the blue or the green button, and then your quit button. All right. So now when I type in second square root 156, now I get simplest radical form. So 2 square root 39. Okay? So that is how we are going to find the missing length using the Pythagorean theorem. All right? Now, the next page here, these are the next two types of questions on your homework, and they mean the same thing. So these two questions basically mean the same thing. And again, it won't let me write. I don't know why. So it says, are the following sides of a right triangle? So let's see, right? So I'm thinking that this would be my right angle, right? So 6 would be a leg, 9 would be the other leg, and 11 would be the hypotenuse, right? So if this is the sides of a right triangle, then this would be equal. All right, so let's check it out. So I've got 6 squared is 36, 9 squared is 81, 11 squared is 121. All right, so let's check this out. So 36 plus 81, does that give me 121? No, it gives me 117. So no. All right, so are these the sides of a right triangle? No. Okay, which means then that it is either acute or obtuse. Okay, and again, in previous years, we would go ahead and we would figure out how we would know if it's acute or obtuse, which is kind of one of the things for the ACT. So you might want to Google that, but just for time's sake, because we have so many standards, I'm just picking and choosing what are the main ones. So if you are planning on taking the ACT, you might want to check that out or email me and we can do kind of a side little thing on how to figure out if it's acute or obtuse. Okay? So no, this is not a right triangle. So let's do the next one here. So we've got 7, 24, and 25. So 7 squared plus 24 squared. Does that equal 25 squared? All right, so we go ahead and figure those out. So 49. Okay, I know that one, but I do not know 24 squared. So on my calculator, 24 squared is 576. Okay, and then 25 squared, I think it's 625, pretty sure. All right, so is 49 plus 576, 625? It is, yay. So 625 equals 625. So this is a right triangle. Okay, and then the second part of our question said, are they a Pythagorean triple? So, if this works out, then this is a Pythagorean triple too. And what that means is if I have a triangle, okay, so let's say I just have a triangle here like this. I know it's a right triangle. I knew this was 25 and I knew that was 24 and I wanted to find this side. Well, I've already done it. I already know that this is a Pythagorean triple. So if I know the 24 and the 25, then I know that that x has to be 7. I didn't even have to do the Pythagorean theorem. Okay? All right. I'm going to skip this one for now just because I think I'm running out of time. This sheet here is super important. These are Pythagorean triples. These are ones that we have already proved that it follows a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So 3 squared, it's not letting me write. 3 squared plus 4 squared does equal 5 squared. So we know that to be true. All right, I think I gotta write it over here. So these are called parent Pythagorean triples. So if I times these all by 2, 6, 8, and 10, that is also a Pythagorean triple. So if I had a triangle, and I knew that this side was 6, this side was 8, and I was looking for that side, I would look at my list here and I'd say, oh, I know the answer is 10. So this can make your homework go really fast if you have these out and you are looking at these. Okay, so please write these down in your notes. If I times 3, 4, 5 by, all by 3, I would get 9, 16, oh, I'm timesing it by 3. So 9, 12, 15. Okay, if I times it all by 4, 12, 16, 20. These are all Pythagorean triples, guys. They all work. So if I did down here, 8, 15, 17. If I did 8 squared plus 15 squared, it will equal 17 squared. So if in my homework, this is the question, I would know that that bottom piece is 15. All right. These are Pythagorean triplets.